Good evening. Thanks a lot for staying with us here at CNN News 18. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Ridhima Bhatnagar. Now, days after an attempt was made to pull down the Indian tricolour in London and United Kingdom, pro-Khalistanis are planning to protest today outside the Indian High Commission in London once again. But this time, London police seems to be better prepared. There is heightened security around the Indian High Commission on the ground. The flag in the balcony has been secured with a barbed wire, perhaps because earlier today, India sent a strong message to the United Kingdom. India has reduced United Kingdom's envoy's special security status. However, we are understanding that the normal security will be available as far as the residents on the ground is concerned. The British High Commission, while reacting to the Indian government's move, said, and I'm quoting, "We do not comment on security matters," end quote. Meanwhile, BJP also held protests against the UK government outside the British Council in Chandigarh, demanding stern action against the perpetrators at the earliest. So what really has been India's message after the events that unfolded in London and in United Kingdom? What is the message that India has said? Let's break down all those details. Move one, which we saw earlier in the day, was that British High Commissioner's security, in fact, has been downgraded. What does this mean? This, in fact, means that the external barricades that were there, they now, in fact, have been removed from outside the envoy's Delhi home. When asked for a reaction, the British High Commission said they do not react on security matters. Other than that, there are other parallel developments that have taken place as well. The senior-most UK diplomat in the national capital also has been summoned. More importantly, you also have an explanation that has been sought on the absence of security on the ground. How come you had these protesters? They could go forward with vandalism like this with no real action and no action by authorities when all of this was unfolding. Move 5, and this is important. United Kingdom has been reminded of obligations under the Vienna Convention and the protocols that follow. So this is a story that we'll keep tracking very, very closely. As we pointed out, pro-Khalistani supporters, in fact, will be protesting once again. What is the ground situation? We have our colleague Ritanchu Bhattacharya now joining us on the broadcast live from outside the Indian High Commission in London. We have Sharon Elizabeth joining us from the national capital. She's joining us from outside the British High Commissioner's Alex residence. We also have Abhishek Jha joining us from the British Embassy here in the national capital. Ritanshu, coming to you first, could you help our viewers understand what the ground situation today looks like? More importantly, are you seeing increased presence of security officials on the ground so that they do not see a sense of events being repeated or what we saw last week?
Good evening, Ridhima, to you and to all our viewers in India at this point. I'm reporting from outside the India House. You can see behind me, it's in Aldwych in central London. Ridhima, to answer your question, let me show you some key visuals for our viewers. Number one, this is the most significant visual at this point. You can see the Indian tricolour, which is generally, which is here as standard. It's being fastened through barbed wire and it's being held in place by this gentleman here to ensure he's, I'm assuming, a member of the staff for the High Commission. This is being done to ensure that a repeat of what happened last Sunday, in which this flag was brought down by a group of Khalistani protesters and replaced temporarily by a Khalistani flag, is avoided. This, of course, is much below the symbolic sense of defiance which was put up after the incident on Sunday, which is this gigantic tricolour which is visible from a long while here. Now, to answer your immediate question, Ridhima, yes, there is a sizable security presence here. The gentlemen you see in these lime green, fluorescent green jackets are from the local police known as the Metropolitan Police here. There is, I would say, about at least 15 to 20 police officers here on both sides of the High Commission, as well as you can see, on the other side of the road as well. So one would assume about 15 to 20 police officers from the local police are here to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. Now, during the break, Ridhima, I spoke to one of those officers here. They say that there are two important things which he said, and this is information that we can exclusively put out on CNN News 18. One is they are expecting a crowd of about anything up to or even more than 1,000 supporters here. Now, that is what the police official here told me off record. They're expecting a crowd of over 1,000 officials, 1,000 protesters. The second important development here, Ridhima, as you can see, are these barricades that have been put out right in front of the High Commission on this side of the pavement here. So the Met Police is saying, sorry, I'm from CNN News 18. Yes. So they will stop the protesters from coming on this way. So these barricades are made to ensure that the crowd does not physically attack or even reach the India House. As a result, these barricades have been placed here. Now, the other important thing you can see, and I can see to our viewers here, is that in terms of the protesters, there's one individual which you can see on the other side of the street, the man in this orange scarf. He's been around since for the time I've been here for the past half an hour, and he's been speaking to police officials, and he's also tried to heckle some of the Indian journalists in place here. So to sum up, Ridhima, yes, number one, there is clearly 3 levels of security here: the barbed wire to fasten the flag, barricades here, and the sizable police presence. That's generally not in place here because generally there is no local police outside the India House. It's just the security staff of the Indian Army Commission. But this time, obviously, they're prepared to ensure that there is no such untoward incident that happens, given what happened last Sunday. Ridhima, back to you.
So as Ritanshu is pointing out, and this is crucial for our viewers to understand as well, there have been certain learnings from the episode that happened last week. So as Ritanshu is showing our viewers, one, the Indian flag has now been secured with barbed wire. There is also additional presence of security officials on the ground. But what is also important is the fact, what Ritanshu is pointing out, that the police is anticipating there could be protesters, as many as 1,000 of them, and that could possibly turn into a law and order situation if they do indulge in vandalism. Ritanshu, what we were understanding was these protesters are planning to protest outside the India House somewhere around 6:30 Indian Standard Time, which means there is still about an hour and a half to go. Are you seeing any sort of protesters already gather or any sort of activity in the build-up of their protest as of now?
No, Ridhima, except for one individual, and I'll just like to show him again if our viewers can spot him. He's on the other side of the street, and he's wearing this orange scarf, which makes him quite visible here. He's the only individual I've seen so far. Now, obviously, we can't say as to whether he's a part of the protesting group, which will come at around in about an hour now, or is he here to do a recce, or is he just here to make inquiries? We don't know. But since the time I've been here, one, he has been speaking to police officials here. He's been conversing with them, and second, he tried to interrupt our reportage and try and come up with pro-Khalistan slogans as well. Apart from this one individual, to my eye, I can't see any other protesters which are gathered. But Ridhima, as you said, it's still about an hour or more than an hour for the official protest time to start, which is 1 p.m. Local time and 6:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So the good news is that obviously there is a sizable police presence here. Security arrangements are in place. You saw earlier a member of the Indian High Commission staff inquiring about my identity, and he obviously was reassured when I told him that I'm a member of the Indian press. But apart from that, yes, Ridhima, to answer your question, no movement yet, no gathering of protesters so far, apart from that one individual that we have mentioned.
Ritanshu, I'll just request you to stay on with us because I want to bring in our other colleagues as well. Ritanshu, just stay on with us if you can hear me. I just want to bring in our other colleagues as well. Sharon and Abhishek also continue to be with us. Sharon is, of course, reporting for us from outside the British High Commissioner's residence. Sharon, talk to our viewers about what you see on the ground and also help us understand where the barricades used to be and what you're seeing today.
Well, Ridhima, I would first like to show you the first 3 sets of barricade was in fact kept over here, and these were the jersey barricades, and that is why you can see how how strong those jersey barricades were, because the kind of depth you can see on the road, they were kept here for years altogether. So those jersey barricades have in fact been removed from outside the British High Commissioner's residence. On the other side as well, if I ask my camera person to show you this side, this as well, there were also in fact 3 sets of barricade that was kept over here. Now, right now I'm reporting from the entry gate of the British High Commissioner's residence. The exit gate also had a similar kind of security protocol in place. Now, these are the external security that has of course been removed at the moment. But as far as the internal security is concerned, you can see on the left side at the residence inside, the security still remains over there. But as far as the external security is concerned, that has been completely removed. So these are the only security protocol at the moment from outside the British High Commissioner residence that has been removed. We spoke to the security inside, who told us that the security protocol, the barricades were in fact removed last night at about 10:30 p.m. So last night itself, in a response, or you can say a kind of a strategy that has in fact been shown by the Indian authority, last night itself these barricades were in fact removed from right outside the residence.
Okay, Sharon, just stay on with us, bringing Abhishek also in the conversation. Abhishek, because this is being now seen as a direct follow fallout of the events that unfolded last week, with the larger question being that why were there not enough security officials on the ground who could stop the vandalism when it was happening, when the tricolour was being pulled down by one of these Khalistan supporters. So today there has been the first reaction of the British High Commission as well. They've said that they won't comment on security matters. But what are your sources telling you? How is this move by India when India has downgraded its security being seen by the British High Commission?
So, Ridhima, what we saw happening in London 2 days ago was it could have been understood as something that slipped from the security personnel's notice, and they couldn't manage the crowd or something that they were probably outnumbered. But the concerning part is their laxity, their inaction towards arresting or detaining or taking any action towards these protesters who were very much present there. In fact, in the last 72 hours, there has not been any major action from the police on the ground. So that inaction of local police authority was very frustrating, and probably that has led to what India has done today to the British High Commissioner's residence and at the British High Commission in Chanakyapuri area, that these barricades have been removed. And this is some sort of messaging. This is optics. This is not that the British High Commissioner's security has been downgraded or he's been, escorts have been removed. It is just a messaging. The perimeter walls and some, these big cement boulders that are put across the road, these have been removed, and now it looks like the message has been received properly, because what today our reporters is reporting from London that there are enough steel barricades, and then there are barbed wires, enough more than a dozen of police personnel present, while they are expecting about 1,000 protesters in London. So clearly, what India tried to convey to the UK side by calling the Deputy High Commissioner and summoning her and presenting India's concern did not go down as expected. And now, when India has sort of tried to remove these barricades and send a strong message, probably the UK authorities are acting on this.
Yeah, and it does look like the lessons have been learned, because Ritanshu is reporting for us that barricades have been put. There is the Indian tricolour which has been secured with the barbed wire, more officials patrolling on the ground as well. Ritanshu, coming back to you, but because what happened in the United Kingdom wasn't an isolated episode, we've seen similar episodes being reported from the United States, Canada, and even in Australia. There is also a sense of fear and panic as far as the Indian diaspora on the ground is concerned. Also, a lot of students also worried. Could you talk to us about two things? One, what is the kind of mood as far as the Indian diaspora on the ground is concerned, and more importantly, the reassurance message that is being sent by authorities on the ground to students?
Well, yes, indeed. Ridhima, to answer the first question, in terms of the Indian diaspora, that of course extends beyond just students as well. A lot of workers who are here as migrants have come here to work and make a living in the United Kingdom. The overwhelming sense amongst the Indian diaspora, I can sense, is outrage, because this flag, as you can see, is a flag which represents and symbolizes Indian pride for the Indian community in the United Kingdom here, especially. And the India House is in a very prominent area of central London, and it's right next to the Waterloo Bridge, which is, of course, just a few meters away from the British Parliament in Westminster. A lot of people cross it on the daily commute, and they feel a sense of pride. Now, some of the fellow students and fellow Indians I've been speaking to say they were shocked and horrified to even see the visual of this Indian tricolour being replaced by a separatist flag here. And for that, they felt there was a sense of a sacred rule, which was being broken here. Now, obviously, so as I said, the reaction within the Indian diaspora is that of outrage, and that was evident from the protests that happened in the aftermath. Now, within the student community, Ridhima, the concern also is that a lot of students have their homes and families in Punjab. And as a result, there was a lot of miscommunication which was happening, a lot of rumors which were being spread about the state of crackdown in Punjab, especially against Amritpal Singh, and in terms of the internet blockade. Now, so today, about 1 hour ago, the Indian High Commission sent out a message to every student in London, every student in the United Kingdom, in assuring them that there was no such state of police emergency in Punjab. As you can see, there's increased police personnel here, which I'd just like to show viewers. Yeah. So yes, as I was saying, the Indian High Commissioner's message said that there is no need for panic. There's no police emergency in Punjab. The internet shutdown has not been in the entire state. It's just been in a few affected districts, and that too, it's not complete. It's just on restrictions on the amount of data or media that can be circulated to stop fake news. He also said again and again, he insisted not to believe channels or agents with vested interest spreading rumors about India, especially about the state of excesses in Punjab, and appeal to them to reach out to the Indian High Commission for any sort of an authentic and verified information about their relatives, about the family family members in London, and also appeal to them to come out to reach out to them and also not believe any sort of a vested interest on any sort of a mischief which is being spread by anti-India or at least anti-national agents in London and in the United Kingdom. So obviously, you can see, Ridhima, that there is a concerted effort in terms of both the Indian High Commission in London as well as the local authorities in London to reassure that what happened last Sunday was an aberration and to ensure there is no further incitement of sentiments given on developments back home in Punjab. Ridhima.
Okay. Ridanshu, we leave the conversation for now, but keep a close eye on all those developments for us. There's still about an hour to go before the scheduled time of these protests. I'd like to thank our other colleagues as well, Abhishek and Sharon. You also keep tracking all those developments back home. Let's also now bring in our guest to try and understand what this move of India will actually mean for ties and for future events between India and the United Kingdom. Former diplomat Ashok Sajanar now joining us on the broadcast. We also have security analyst Patikrit Payne. Gentlemen, good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Patikrit, I'd like to begin the conversation with you first. How do you see this move symbolically? What does this mean for the United Kingdom? And also, what does it mean for India to be going forward with a step like this?
No, I think it's part of sovereign reciprocity, and I think Government of India has done the right thing. The number of personnel has not been reduced. The barricades have been removed. It's a symbolic thing, and I don't think too many people in India would regret if the British High Commissioner has a few sleepless nights. Let me tell you, we have gone over the board over the last 60, 70 years in giving too much of importance to the British High Commission and consulates across India. Part of that can be the colonial mindset. Even when the British never had given that much of importance, and they had utter disregard, literally, to the security of the Indian consulates or the embassies and even places of worship. Unfortunately, where there are Sikh places of worship which are extremely holy places, the kind of stranglehold the Khalistanis have in some of these places, where you can simply not enter. Somebody from the embassy cannot simply enter. And there are so many other things that have happened. So I think, frankly speaking, if you see the course correction that is happening in Britain right now, it's not because they have learned the lessons from what happened last week. It has happened so many times. It's just because India has upped the ante. And I think it's a very, very good thing that India has done. We have to see how the British react. But this is the only communication. This is the only thing they understand. It is not that they were not aware of what the Khalistanis are. It is not that they are not aware of what kind of precedents the Khalistanis have. They were very well aware of it. Probably at the local level, there are political funding that happens. There are these organizations which actually mobilize people for election purpose. So there was reluctance to act. Perhaps there are other reasons also. But I think India has done the right thing in terms of making sure that you cannot take the fifth largest economy of the world anymore lightly. This is not what India used to be 200 years back. If you want respect, you have to reciprocate that. The flag is a symbol of India's democracy. The British are the foremost in terms of lecturing the world about democracy. And if you cannot respect the symbols of democracy, then you need to be reciprocated. I would love to see. I mean, I'm not a diplomat, so I can say
particularly that symbolic move by India actually seems to be having an impact, at least as far as the ground situation for now is concerned, because all the reports that our colleague Ridanshu is getting for us, you can see heightened security presence. Security personnel are only increasing in numbers. Steel barricades have been put, which is not a common sight as far as Londoners are concerned. The national flag has been secured with barbed wire. So clearly, lessons have been learned, and they do not want a repeat of that episode because it becomes embarrassing for them as well, and a lot of questions will be asked of them as well. But Ashok sir, I want to bring you also in the conversation. Diplomatically speaking, protocols as far as and obligations under the Vienna Convention are stated for both nations to already know what the protocols and obligations are. Going back to the episodes that unfolded last week with no security personnel trying to intervene or stop the vandalism by these Khalistani supporters, what do you think this means as far as the protocols of the convention itself is concerned?
No, I think the United Kingdom and the police and the security agencies have been found woefully wanting. India had already provided them with intelligence, provided them with information that we do expect a large number of people, Khalistani protesters, supporters to come and to demonstrate in front of the High Commission. So the information was available to them. It's not as if, it came a bolt out of the blue, that it came as a surprise. And still the fact that they had, not taken our warning, our information, intelligence that had been provided to them seriously, I think that is quite unacceptable. There was, as it is the responsibility of the local government to provide security to the diplomatic missions, to their property, to their personnel. And here, when they already had information provided, and I'm sure they must be having their own intelligence also, Ridhima, but when India had also provided them with this information, and still they completely disregarded it, and they did not take it seriously, I think that has led to a very strong démarche to the UK High Commission here, which we have said it is, we find it quite unacceptable. And I think if they, I'm not particularly glad or gloating over what the British police personnel and the force is out there. If they were not there, in addition to the fact that they are not taking the threat seriously, they would have been seen to be totally incompetent and ineffective. So, as it is, they have been found to be that, but this would have really added on to the humiliation that the
But as of now, the scenes that we're getting is only before the scheduled protest has begun. So we'll really have to see by 6:30 Indian Standard Time what the ground situation really looks like, and if the police personnel, in fact, are able to gauge the situation and contain it, and also ensure that there is no vandalism this time around. I'll have to leave the conversation there. Patikrit and Ashok Sajjanar, always a pleasure speaking to both of you. We're getting some other breaking developments also coming in. We're now getting the first government reaction on the Khalistani provocation and the steps that India has taken. The Power Minister, R.K. Singh, has now pinned the blame on Pakistan and ISI for provoking these elements. Let's listen in.
Let me first start by asking you your thoughts, because you're also the former Home Secretary and you've seen these elements for a while. So let me first start with the current issue, sir. What do you see or your thoughts when you see these Khalistani goons and vandals mushrooming across the world? Australia, UK, US, Canada, and of course what's happening in Punjab?
You see, the Pakistan ISI, Inter-Services Intelligence, has been working at it for a long time. If you recall, in the 80s, the troubles which were there in Punjab, the leaders of the Khalistani groups have always been patronized by the ISI. In fact, they were cultivated and propped up by the ISI. They have been, brainwashed by the ISI. When I had gone to Pakistan for Home Secretary level talks, I had mentioned this, and I had also given them a list of the, the Khalistani leaders who were being given shelter in Pakistan. And I told them that, if you really want good relations, you would extradite, send them back to India so that we can arrest them and put them on trial. So these are all, even this Amritpal person, I mean, he is a pure and simple ISI sort of plant. The ISI has probably indoctrinated him and sent him across and given him the resources. And the ISI has been working across the world, whether it's in the United States or in the United Kingdom or whether it's in Canada on this. And unfortunately, even even countries whom we count as our friends, they haven't cracked down on such elements.
But what do you see is the reason? Because the times are different. The likes of Amritpal are not getting the kind of traction that used to be there. They hardly have any purchase on ground. Even in Canada and on foreign soil, we've seen मुट्ठी भर लोग आए हैं. ज़्यादा लोग नहीं आए, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं इनको कोई facilitation मिल रही है. Is somebody backing them? Are they using this to try and also get back at us?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no mystery as to who is backing them. It's the ISI who is backing them. This is their project, and it's a project in the international, inter-services intelligence. It's a project. It is their project. They are backing them. They are bankrolling them with all the drug money which they are getting out of Afghanistan. And yes, you are right, Anand, the traction has reduced because people have become wiser.
जी.
And so they realize that they are being misled by some foreign agency. All these people are they are working on behest of that foreign agency, ISI.
Would you agree with this approach where they are saying कि आप भारत और भारत के तिरंगे को हल्के मना लो? Somewhere the government is trying to send that message, saying if you cannot protect our embassy, our consuls,
right.
then we will also reduce the
Absolutely
security
right.
cover and no special treatment.
Absolutely right. I raised this yesterday, and the British Minister for Energy had met me, and I raised this. I said that what is this? Sovereign governments are pledged, pledged and they're duty bound to protect embassies and high commissions. And what is this? What happened? The High Commission had sent intimation a day ahead in advance that this is what we have learned, that there might be some demonstrations by Khalistani elements. And despite that, the police did not turn up. It came half an hour after the whole incident was over. I mentioned this to him, and I said that all nations, all sovereign countries are pledged to protect the embassies, etc., foreign legations on their soil. What happened? He said that he'll go back and he'll raise it. He was talking about something about metropolitan police not being under the control or being independent. I said that, look, are you telling me that you are not in a position to redeem your sovereign pledge to protect embassies? You can't say that. So basically, there's no defense whatsoever for this lack of response by the local police, by the British police. There can be no defense whatsoever, and whatever reaction has happened, in downgrading their security, embassy, High Commission security is absolutely appropriate. This message needs to go. You can't take us lightly. You can't take us for granted. This message needs to go. Yes.
R.K. Singh ji, if you see in the issue of Amritpal, Punjab police has not yet been able to nab him. But there are parties and political leaders like the Congress and the Akalis who are trying to give cover fire to those who have been arrested. There are leaders who are even coming out, their legal representatives saying कि NSA क्यों लगाया?
It is shameful. It is shameful. I mean, these people will do anything. They forget, national security, etc. It is utterly shameful, their behavior or their stance, and that is why they get rejected. That's why all such people get rejected, and all such people. That's why the Congress has been marginalized.
So there, the government's first reaction as far as this entire protest by the Khalistani supporters are concerned. They've, of course, pinned the blame to the ISI and Pakistan. But let's go back to our colleague Ritanshu Bhattacharya, who continues to report for us from outside the Indian House in London. Ritanshu, are you seeing any activity around you?
Well, Ridhima, I am on the rear side of the Indian High Commission here, and the visuals here are a lot more dramatic in terms of the police build-up here. So first, I'd like to show this is, of course, there's a sizable police presence here in terms of deployment here. There, I could, at least to my counting, about at least 10 to 12 police vehicles are here with a lot of police force inside the vans as well. Now, this is also, Ridhima, I'd like to point out, this is also a very prominent student area in London, because right there is King's College London, and on the other side of the of the High Commission, which we'll show, is also the London School of Economics. Now, here, of course, we've seen mounted police presence here as well. This is something that's happened over the past 15 to 20 minutes here. There is a police presence here as well. Barricades put up here as well. I'm just going to walk aside, Ridhima, to the front side of the Indian High Commission so that our viewers can get an idea of the lay of the land here. There you get a better angle of the sheer police presence which is here in terms of deployment. So what we are seeing right now, Ridhima, at the main entrance of the Indian High Commission is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of police presence here. So clearly they anticipate trouble. There is obviously a sense of what happened last Sunday cannot be asked to go on. I spoke to more police officials during the break, Ridhima, and they said that they're here because they anticipate trouble in terms of a protest. They will not stop the protest. This is important, Ridhima. They're not going to stop the protest because if it's a peaceful expression of free speech, but they will here to ensure that there is no outward incident about what happened last Sunday. So I'm just going to I'm just walking from the rear side of the High Commission. There you can see more police presence coming here. And this is, of course, the front side, the main entrance. You'll see more mounted police here on horses. The Met Police is increasing its security presence. Here we are back at the front side. No no presence of protesters yet, apart from that one individual I have been showing to viewers. And this is, of course, the front side where the tricolor has been fastened securely. You can see the barbed wiring in place to ensure that it cannot be taken down. And there are, of course, barricades put up to ensure that on this side, there is no wave of protesters which come here and attack this building. And there's a lot more in reserve, as we found out in terms of the deployment, in terms of the reserve station on the other side of the mosque. So clearly, the London police are not taking any chances here. They anticipate a crowd of at least 1,000 or even not more. And they're here to ensure that there's no violent activity or a breakdown of law and order that happens.
So Ridanshu, they're bringing us those ground reports showing us the police deployment on the ground. Lessons have been learned. There is heightened presence of security officials. As of now, no protesters can be seen. Ridanshu, thanks a lot for getting us those details. We'll continue to come back to you, shifting our focus to some breaking developments now coming in. Prime Minister Modi has chaired a high-level meeting today to review the COVID-related situation and the rising COVID cases. As we pointed out, there has been an uptick once again, unfortunately, as far as COVID-19 infection cases are concerned. Just yesterday, we've seen over 1,000 cases. The active case load is over 7,000. So what are the precautions that one can take? Let's also bring in our political editor, Maria Shakil, who's been tracking these developments. Maria, the numbers are not looking good after a gap of 6 months, over 1,000 cases. Active cases over 7,000. So how prepared are we? That was the entire focus of this meeting. What are the details that you're picking up?
And only last week, Ridhima, the Union Health Ministry had written to 6 states which were reporting a rise in COVID-19 cases. And they were asked to make risk assessment and also, contain the spread of the infection. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, even as we speak, is chairing a high-level meeting, which is being attended by top officials of the health ministry. Perhaps a message will be going to various state governments as well as to what can be done. India has recorded over 1,000 plus infections, as we pointed out rightly. This is according to the Union Health Ministry's data, which was updated today. And one death has been reported from Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Gujarat and Maharashtra. And hence the daily positivity rate is also increasing in a number of states. The question is, what really is the way forward? Is this a new variant? All that will be taken up when the Prime Minister reviews the situation. This is a review meeting. But overall, the concern certainly is that why is this surge being seen? Is there some kind of, perhaps antibiotic which is needed? Because if you look at the revised guidelines, which clearly says that antibiotics should not be used unless there is a clinical suspicion of bacterial infection. So the concern is that because of high-grade fever, severe cough, which is lasting for more than 5 days, what really is the way forward? Is it remdesivir? What can be done is something that we'll have to wait and see. Just a quick recap. On March 16th is when the Union Health Ministry had written to Maharashtra, Gujarat, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka, saying that there has to be a 5-fold strategy of test, track, treat and vaccination, which was needed.
Okay, Mario, we'll leave the conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. We'll, of course, keep tracking the big takeaways of that meeting for you closely. It's not over till it's over, so possibly it's time for us to go back to the basics of masking up once again. We'll keep tracking those developments. Time for us to slip into a very short break.
And sending drugs, arms, ammunition with the local help, and the local help was provided by Amritpal and his local criminals. He used to manage local supplies in India, and whenever they used to send drones, drugs and arms, ammunition, so they in India, Amritpal used to send these drugs to concerned person and another. So agencies are now correlating these drug movements with Amritpal entry in India. Probably they have find multiple other linkages also. The Amritpal also already met SFJ chief in London, and there are other allegations also that he got trained in Georgia. So all these aspects have been linked by central agencies, and now they are working on these aspects. Back to you.
All right, Ankur, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us those details on that exclusive input. Now, we're going to be heading over to CNN News 18's Anshul Singh, who's joining us live from Jalandhar, where he's been tracking all of the developments in this story. Anshul, good morning. Can you tell us about whatever updates have come in, say, in the last 12 hours per se?
Well, if you see, the Punjab police is still trying to figure out the last known location of Amritpal Singh. They are actually trying to route the entire map through which Amritpal Singh might have escaped, because remember, the entire operation, when it was being conducted, the Punjab police actually anticipated that Amritpal Singh is going to come out and surrender himself, but the manner in which he escaped from the location came as a very big shock for the Punjab police, and hence Amritpal Singh actually managed to escape from the grasp of the police, because police did not anticipate that there is going to be such a massive chase that is going to take place. But yes, on the other hand, Amritpal Singh, who projected himself as the next big thing, as the next guru, and he after the entire Ajnala incident happened, the manner in which he came out and said that he is going to take action against the Punjab police, the Punjab government, and he's going to continue to do that if at all any sort of FIR or any sort of action is taken against him. But yes, the CCTV footage that we have accessed, it clearly shows the kind of coward that he was, and the manner in which he escaped from Punjab. He tried to escape from Punjab. But yes, on the other hand, the Punjab police is still confident that he is very much inside the borders of Punjab. On the other hand, Punjab police is trying to probe the entire story from the angle of from where was he getting the funding, because remember, Amritpal Singh earning was not as much as it was being shown in and around him, because remember, he was traveling in a luxurious Mercedes car, and that Mercedes car was in fact given to him by a drug lord named Renda. So all these links are being probed. Also, the Punjab police has another link between Amritpal and pro-Khalistani based terrorist, pro-Khalistan based terrorist as well. So yes, all these links are being taken out now, and a stronger case is being built, because remember, yesterday the hearing that happened in Punjab and Haryana High Court, Punjab and Haryana High Court actually came out very strongly on the Punjab government and said that even after you have such a massive force with you, even if you have such intelligence assets at your disposal, how did Amritpal Singh actually manage to escape? And hence they have given a 4-day time to the Punjab government to file their reply in this entire matter. So yes, it remains to be seen how does the Punjab government now respond to this, because yes, the High Court is seeing this entire operation as a failure, because even after so many police officials were deployed on the ground, Amritpal Singh still has managed to escape. So yes, the next few days are going to be very, very crucial for the Punjab police to make sure that they go ahead and arrest Amritpal Singh and slap NSA against him. So yes, the next few days are going to be very, very interesting and crucial for Punjab police. But yes, on the other hand, the situation in Punjab is absolutely normal at this point in time. However, the belt in which Amritpal Singh was operating, the belt of Amritsar, Taran, etc., the internet services have still been snapped over there, whereas in all other districts the internet services have been restored. People are going out and people are working very normally. So yes, the situation is normal, but yes, the manhunt for Amritpal Singh is still on.
Absolutely. Anshul, thank you so much for joining us and for bringing us those details. Now we're going to listen to some other statements that have come in on the story.
जो भी काम किया जाएगा, किसी नू किसी तरह की इलीगल अरेस्ट च ना रखा गया ना रखा जाएगा। जदों भी जिहड़ा प्राइम अक्यूज्ड आ जदों भी फड़िया जाएगा, तुरंत उहदे बारे दे विच जानकारी दित्ती जाएगी इहदे विच कि जिहड़ी ब्रेजा कार दे विच अमृतपाल सिंह उत्थों दौड़िया सीगा मौके तो वो ब्रेजा कार रिकवर हुई आ। जिहड़े 4 बंदियां ने भज्जण दे विच मदद कीती सीगी, इन्हां तो जिहड़ी गड्डी मिली आ उहदे विचों भी 315 बोर दी एक राइफल मिली आ, कुछ तलवारां मिलियां वा, वॉकी टॉकी सैट मिलिया वा। इन्हां दे उत्ते आर्म्ड एक्ट दा केस ते इन्हां दे उत्ते उहनूं कस्टडी चों मतलब पुलिस दी गिरफ्त तो भजाण वास्ते जिहड़े सैक्शन हुंदे आ वो भी ऐड कीते जा रहे इहदे विच FIR दे विच। जिहड़ी बहुत अहम गल सामने आई आ कि अमृतपाल सिंह इत्थों दौड़न तो बाद नंगल अंबिया पिंड आ उत्थे गुरुद्वारा साहब दे विच गया, उत्थे जाके उन्हें कपड़े चेंज कीते, उन्हें शर्ट पाई, पैंट पाई, फिर उत्थों दौड़िया, अपनी जिहड़ी तलवार सी उत्थे छड्ड दित्ती।
5 से 6 केस दर्ज है भाई अमृतपाल सिंह के ऊपर, और वो इंडियन पीनल कोड के केसेज हैं और कोई ऑफेंस नहीं लगाया। तो मानयोग अदालत ने इस पर कहा भी जो ये स्टोरी है, ये कहानी है स्टेट की, इस पर मानयोग अदालत को जो भरोसा नहीं है और 1 हफ्ते के अंदर अंदर भाई अमृतपाल सिंह को प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए जो ऑर्डर किया सरकार को जी, जो उन्होंने मानयोग जज साहब ने भी बोला है भी जो इतना बड़ा ऑपरेशन था, इतने ज़्यादा पुलिस वाले उसमें इन्वॉल्व थे, ये पॉसिबल नहीं हो सकता भी भाई अमृतपाल सिंह के जो बाकी साथी सारे हैं, एडवोकेट जनरल साहब ने भी कहा भी बाकी जो साथी सारे हैं वो गिरफ्तार हो जाएं और भाई अमृतपाल सिंह ना हो। जज साहब ने कहा है ये पॉसिबल नहीं हो सकता। और इस पे एक और बड़ी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी चीज़ है, एडवोकेट जनरल साहब ने ये भी कहा भी इसमें कोई भी फायरिंग नहीं की गई, सभी को बिना किसी फायरिंग किए गए उन्होंने पकड़ लिया गया है।
Now, tracking the developments of the Khalistani supporters in India, that's what we're going to be doing right now. As the manhunt to nab pro-Khalistani leader Amritpal Singh enters its 5th day, new videos continue to emerge of him trying to evade the police. Now, in a new CCTV footage that has been accessed, Amritpal can be seen ditching the Brezza car and then escaping on a bike. Now, remember, first he used a Mercedes and then switched cars and used a Brezza. Now, in this, what we're learning.
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. It's day 5 and the manhunt to nab pro-Khalistani leader Amritpal still continues. According to Punjab police sources, Amritpal is travelling with his 2 close associates who are in touch with the ISI, and he's travelling only at night to escape from the police. Himachal Pradesh police has also now been put on high alert. Today, the Punjab police have recovered the bike and also the Brezza, which was used by Amritpal while he was escaping from police officials. His last location of CCTV footage accessed by the police is believed to be from Punjab's Firozpur Moga Road. Now, there was an uproar over Amritpal issue in the Punjab Assembly earlier today as well. The opposition has slammed the Aam Aadmi Party government for the deteriorating law and order situation in the state. Meanwhile, the Akalis have decided to provide complete legal assistance to all Sikh youth arrested in this ongoing crackdown in Punjab by the Aam Aadmi Party government. But the larger question is, where really is Amritpal and why has the Punjab police not been able to nab him? So let's break down the details of what we know so far and what is the evidence that has already been caught by the Punjab police. Now, the first is you have these CCTV visuals which we've accessed here on CNN News 18. It in fact shows Amritpal that he was forced to ditch the vehicles that he was travelling in. He switched to a 2-wheeler then, and this bike also in fact was then found ditched later in the day, and that also has been now taken into custody by the police officials. He changed clothes at a gurdwara before fleeing. Now, we do know that he's changed multiple looks. Many people on the ground are helping Amritpal escape. All these visuals and pictures which the police has, they in fact are releasing it in the public domain so that if anyone has any tip-off, the police can be alerted. As I pointed out about this particular bike, Amritpal's bike has also been recovered near Jalandhar. Now, there was enough chatter that possibly he's already crossed the border. As of now, the Punjab police feels that hasn't happened. He hasn't crossed the border. There are multiple teams already on the ground, teams looking for him in Rajasthan, Bhatinda, some in Himachal Pradesh as well. But as of now, they don't have a clear location of where Amritpal could be. The bike that has now been found with the police officials, in fact, was found abandoned near a canal in Darapur. So obviously, there is a lot of pressure on Amritpal also. He's continuously changing his plans. He's used 2 vehicles, a Mercedes and a Brezza. He was forced to then move to a bike. We don't know what happened after he ditched the bike. All those questions remain unanswered. Amritpal's last location on Firozpur Moga Road, that's the CCTV footage that the police have. But 4 to 5 days on, the police still haven't been able to catch him. Close aides of Amritpal, though, have been taken into custody. Before we bring in our guests, let's also listen in to some reactions.
देखिए वहाँ पर ये ऐसे हुआ था कि जब इनको पुलिस पार्टी चेज कर रही थी तो ये वहाँ से एस्केप करके गुरुद्वारा साहब गए हैं। वहाँ जाके इन्होंने जो ग्रंथी साहब थे उनको ओवर पावर करके फोर्सिबली उसको प्रेशराइज करके उसको उनसे उन्होंने कपड़े लेके वहाँ इन्होंने तकरीबन 40-45 मिनट वहाँ निकाले थे और उसके बाद वहाँ से इन्होंने बाइक्स मंगाए हैं। बाइक मंगा के और उस बाइक्स पे फिर ये फरार हुए हैं। देखो इनकी भूमिका मैंने बताई ना आपको। देखो इनका जो रोल था चारों का, इसमें जो लॉजिस्टिक्स जो प्रोवाइड की इन्होंने, लाइक मोटरसाइकिल प्रोवाइड की है, फिर कार प्रोवाइड की है, उसमें इनका रोल था और जो रोल था इनका उस हिसाब से हमने कार्रवाई की है।
Let's also now bring in our guests to try and understand what are the lapses that have happened by the state government and police officials on the ground, and why the police hasn't been able to still identify the location of Amritpal, and why is he still not being taken into custody. Tushar Gupta, senior editor, Swarajya magazine, joining us on the broadcast. Political analyst Professor D.K. Giri also joining us. Professor Giri, I'd like to begin the conversation with you. A lot of criticism coming way of the state government and police officials on the ground, that since almost 80,000 police officials were given the job and the task of capturing Amritpal, how did he even manage to escape in the first place? Today, a manhunt has been launched. It's 5 days on. We don't know where Amritpal is. But in the first place, how did he even escape?
Well, this is this is not a very difficult question. If you remember emergency, you may not. I remember very well. There were police all over the country. And Dr. Subramanian Swamy managed to slip the police net and appear in the parliament and register at presence. So it is historical. People quote him. So one can escape police, but the point is that we have to look at the gravity of the problem. We started about 10 years ago, and it was there during BJP's time, and it was there during Amarinder's time. Now it is manifesting. So it has to be tackled by the whole country. It is not the time for fault finding, and it is a national problem. And we know the traumatic, dark days of Punjab problem during the peak of the Khalistani movement. So it should be nipped in the bud.
Professor Giri, this is a time for introspection, agreed, but this is also a time to ask the hard questions. What is the responsibility of the state government? Punjab already is a border state, so already those concerns are there. And we're not talking about any ordinary citizen. We're talking about an individual like Amritpal, whose intentions are known to everyone. He has become a threat as far as national security is concerned. Just go back to events that unfolded just a couple of weeks ago. But Tushar, I want to bring you in. I want to understand. One second, Professor Giri. Professor Giri, one second. No, media is doing their job. Considering the fact that media has so much focus on stories like these, is the reason that we're only forcing political parties to even respond. And the manhunt that is being launched. No, I'm asking questions of the state government. Law and order situation comes under the state government. So, of course, questions will be asked to them. But Tushar, I want to... No, one second. Tushar, I want to bring you also in the conversation. Now, the larger question today is, considering it's been 4 to 5 days on, the Punjab police still doesn't know where Amritpal is, and he's also really confusing the police officials on the ground. Is he in Bhatinda? Is he in Rajasthan? Is he crossed the border? Is he in Himachal Pradesh? The politics that is erupted as far as the manhunt is concerned, is that derailing the probe? Because today, a lot of hangama was seen early in the day. You have Akalis coming out also and saying, and they're in fact saying that we'll give legal support to the Sikh youth that have been picked up, because for how long can you keep them in preventive custody? So do you actually see this moving somewhere where a solution can be found?
See, as long as the state government does not bend before the politics of the state, all is going to be fine. But it's a massive failure on the part of the Aam Aadmi government and the Punjab police. I'll tell you why, Ridhima. Until a few weeks ago, what was the Aam Aadmi party and its cadre saying on the ground? That Amritpal Singh is a plant by the center because they want to derail the peace and prosperity and progress of Punjab under the Aam Aadmi party government. They had actually the audacity to say this on the ground. It wasn't until the Home Ministry pulled up the Chief Minister that some action was seen. Nevertheless, see, there are 2-3 aspects we need to consider. The Punjab border, at least in the Pakistan border, in Punjab sector, it's heavily fortified with live fences and everything. So for him to be able to cross over would not be very simple. Yes, he can go into Himachal Pradesh and Rajasthan, and that would be a different challenge. But given all the state police departments have assured their cooperation, one hopes that will happen. But the Punjab police or the Aam Aadmi party government can't shake off the responsibility. Professor Giri here was saying, oh, it's a national problem. Of course, any separatist is a national problem. But even in the 80s, it was the Punjab police that was ushering a crackdown on the Khalistanis. So today, whatever has to be done by the Punjab police. And there was a force of 100 cars, 80,000 cops. My question is, if you've been able to arrest all his aides, his uncle has surrendered, his driver has surrendered, his village is now wearing a deserted look. The aides are all disappeared. There is no cadre left. Where is Amritpal Singh? But having said that, Ridhima, I'm happy about one thing. There's a silver lining in all this. The people of Punjab have seen through the charade of Amritpal Singh. I'll give you an interesting tidbit.
But Tushar, I apologize for interrupting. I'm also bound by the constraints of time, but I agree with the question that is being asked by you, that Considering the fact his aides have been arrested, why is it becoming so difficult to nab Amritpal? Unfortunately, I'll have to leave that question there. Those questions still remain. The Punjab police will have to get some answers for that. Here's hoping that this nexus can be broken. We'll keep tracking those developments. For now, we're slipping into a very short break.
Remember, first he used a Mercedes and then switched cars and used a Brezza. Now, in this, what we're learning is that the Brezza car was ditched and then he escaped later on a bike. Now, according to the police, Amritpal also changed his clothes at a gurdwara before escaping on a bike. Meanwhile, politics has also erupted after the Punjab government's crackdown against Amritpal and his aides. Shiromani Akali Dal President Sukhbir Badal has said that they will provide legal assistance to all Sikh youths who are being arrested by the police. He further added that the Akali Dal will ensure that constitutional rights are not trampled upon by the AAP government. All right, this is an exclusive breaking input that we're getting. When Amritpal came back to India, the Punjab border saw the highest ever drone movements at the borders, and this is what data is showing. This is what data is telling us. Agencies also found linkages of Amritpal with cross-border drug dealers who are based in Pakistan, and we're learning about certain names here. This is Billah, Bilal and Rana. Now, to get us more details on this, we're being joined by News 18's Ankur Sharma. Ankur, over to you.
Yeah, Aisha, so it's central agencies are suspecting that since time Amritpal arrived in Punjab last year in August, so there has been a massive increase in drone movements last year. In fact, they have recorded the highest number of drone movements from Pakistan side, sending arms, ammunition, drugs through drones to India. And according to the data, last year 256 drone movements have been noticed by BSF, which is approximately 4 times high than 2021, which in 2021 it was 67 drone movements which was noticed by BSF. Data also shows that Jammu border also saw a rise, almost a double rise last year of the drone movement, and there is also concerns that now agencies are linking these high movement of drones because of Amritpal. They are claiming that Amritpal is in touch with various drug dealers based in Punjab like Billah, Bilal and Rana. They are based in Pakistan and sending drugs, arms, ammunition with the local help, and the local help was provided by Amritpal and his local criminals. He used to manage local supplies in India, and whenever they used to send drones, drugs and arms, ammunition, so they in India, Amritpal used to send these drugs to concerned person and other. So agencies are now correlating these drug movements with Amritpal entry in India. Probably they have find multiple other linkages also. Amritpal also already met SFJ chief in London, and there are other allegations also that he got trained in Georgia. So all these aspects have been linked by central agencies, and now they are working on these aspects. Back to you.
All right, Ankur, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us those details on that exclusive input. Now, we're going to be heading over to CNN News 18's Amritpal Singh, who's joining us live from Jalandhar, where he's been tracking all of the developments in this story. Anshul, good morning. Can you tell us about whatever updates have come in, say, in the last 12 hours per se?
Well, if you see, the Punjab police is still trying to figure out the last known location of Amritpal Singh. They are actually trying to route the entire map through which Amritpal Singh might have escaped, because remember, the entire operation when it was being conducted, the Punjab police actually anticipated that Amritpal Singh is going to come out and surrender himself, but the manner in which he escaped from the location came as a very big shock for the Punjab police, and hence Amritpal Singh actually managed to escape from the grasp of the police, because police did not anticipate that there is going to be such a massive chase that is going to take place. But yes, on the other hand, Amritpal Singh, who projected himself as the next big thing, as the next guru, and he after the entire Ajnala incident happened, the manner in which he came out and said that he is going to take action against the Punjab police, the Punjab government, and he's going to continue to do that if at all any sort of FIR or any sort of action is taken against him. But yes, the CCTV footage that we have accessed, it clearly shows the kind of coward that he was, and the manner in which he escaped from Punjab. He tried to escape from Punjab. But yes, on the other hand, the Punjab police is still confident that he is very much inside the borders of Punjab. On the other hand, Punjab police is trying to probe the entire story from the angle of from where was he getting the funding, because remember, Amritpal Singh earning was not as much as it was being shown in and around him, because remember, he was traveling in a luxurious Mercedes car, and that Mercedes car was in fact given to him by a drug lord named Renda. So all these links are being probed. Also, the Punjab police has another link between Amritpal and pro-Khalistani based terrorist, pro-Khalistan-based terrorist as well. So yes, all these links are being taken out now, and a stronger case is being built, because remember, yesterday the hearing that happened in Punjab and Haryana High Court, Punjab and Haryana High Court actually came out very strongly on the Punjab government and said that even after you have such a massive force with you, even if you have such intelligence assets at your disposal, how did Amritpal Singh actually manage to escape? And hence they have given a 4-day time to the Punjab government to file their reply in this entire matter. So yes, it remains to be seen how does the Punjab government now respond to this, because yes, the High Court is seeing this entire operation as a failure, because even after so many police officials were deployed on the ground, Amritpal Singh still has managed to escape. So yes, the next few days are going to be very, very crucial for the Punjab police to make sure that they go ahead and arrest Amritpal Singh and slap NSA against him. So yes, the next few days are going to be very, very interesting and crucial for Punjab police. But yes, on the other hand, the situation in Punjab is absolutely normal at this point in time. However, the belt in which Amritpal Singh was operating, the belt of Amritsar, Taran, etc., the internet services have still been snapped over there, whereas in all other districts the internet services have been restored. People are going out and people are working very normally. So yes, the situation is normal, but yes, the manhunt for Amritpal Singh is still on.
Absolutely. Anshul, thank you so much for joining us and for bringing us those details. Now we're going to listen to some other statements that have come in on the story.
जो भी काम कीता
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Strong earthquake tremors were felt in northern India, including the Delhi NCR region, after a 6.6 earthquake struck northern Afghanistan on Tuesday evening. The earthquake was felt in India, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and even China. Many in North India, though, today are extremely worried due to the frequent earthquake episodes. Let's just talk about yesterday's earthquake. The epicenter of the earthquake was in Afghanistan, shockwaves of which were felt in North India. The reason for which was the earthquake's origin was 156 kilometers below the Earth's surface. Deep earthquakes are also felt over large distances, which makes them very frequent. The Indo-Australian plate colliding with the Eurasian plate has also become a reason behind this earthquake, and also the Hindu Kush Himalayan region, which is already a very sensitive and active area. The larger question today is there any science to understand the sensitivity of earthquakes, and can earthquakes really be predicted? If you go back to a Dutch researcher, he in fact had predicted the Turkey-Syria earthquake on the 3rd of February, which meant 3 days before the earthquake actually happened. At that time, he had said, and I'm quoting, "The reason for us to put out the February 3rd tweet was based on extended research. The research was based on past deadly earthquakes that have hit the region." He had gone on to say that on the 3rd of February, some seismic activity was observed in the region. When he predicted the Turkey-Syria earthquake 3 days ahead of time, he said he had no idea that the earthquake will happen just so fast. In fact, on the 8th of February, predicted seismic activity in Asia as well. He even went on to anticipate a large earthquake originating in Afghanistan. Depending on his pattern, he went on to say that the method that we use, in fact, is controversial. He says that they've done extensive research into past earthquakes, and now they look specifically at the position of the planets. They attempt to find a pattern, and then they use that to anticipate larger earthquakes in the future. And according to them, it works very well. He in fact also warned of tremors through Pakistan and India. Though this is controversial because experts today are divided, the United States Geological Survey in fact has gone on to say that no scientist has ever predicted a major earthquake. So the jury is still divided. With that, it's a wrap from my side, but news continues here on CNN News 18.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. After a stern warning to the UK, British envoy's security in the national capital has been downgraded along with the security presence outside the British High Commission. This is one of many steps India can take to drive home the message that India will no longer tolerate lackadaisical attitude towards its missions and its sovereignty. Remember, this unprecedented step is coming in response to the vandalization at the Indian High Commission, where Khalistani protesters brought down the Indian flag. India has been quite miffed because no local security was present despite the fact that the Indians warned of such protests in advance. Now, all eyes are at the India House again in London as another Khalistani protest has been planned by banned Khalistani outfit Sikhs for Justice. This is the same organization that from time to time organizes violent protests around the globe against India. The British government and especially London police will be on test today. We'll get you live updates. But the big question is, will they allow people to come right next to the embassy or force a perimeter? Will they crack down on such elements that indulge in not just protests but this kind of vandalism and violence against other Indian origin people in London? And will British and other governments finally wake up to the K threat and act according to India's interests? Have we sent the right message to the Britishers that this is no longer going to work as status quo? What more can we do? We'll take those questions to our guest joining us in just a bit. But first, let's take a look at these pictures. These are visuals from the UK High Commission from outside the residence of UK envoy to India. The Indian government removing the special security status from outside these two facilities. So outside the UK Commission, about 15 to 20 jersey barriers have been removed